Welcome to the Steve Reeve Podcast with the best moments from the past week and a few things that didn't make it to air. Tuesday.
Trudeau is gone. Obviously, we know. But now, Jagmeet Singh is gone. And while Pierre Poilievre did signal intentions to remain Conservative Party leader, in the light of morning, he's lost his seat as an MP. He's held it for 7 different elections, and not this one. It's a whole new Canada. It feels like, though, clearly with a 4th straight term for the Liberal Party, many feel that not much has changed at all. I believe it has, but in ways that truly remain to be seen, I think. Who is anyone to say how you should be feeling about all of this? What I'm not interested in is any gloating from anyone who is feeling victorious, or any undermining of the Canadian democratic integrity by shouting fraud, because you might be upset. We are where we are, and we are at a monumental moment. I don't just mean in Canada. I mean across the planet, the globe. Some 180 countries shaken up right now. And it's time to continue to put Canada first and celebrate all that we have to offer. Truly, I think that is the focus. I hope that we can hold on to.
It's time for Cruz Music News with Steve Reeve.
Getting things started off, Metallica has got yet another deluxe reissue of an album coming out, this time for the Load album. And version of Until It Sleeps is leading this release, which is going to be coming out June 13th from their Blackened Records label. Pre-orders available now, but of course, and on all kinds of different versions. 2 times 180-gram LP, CD, cassette, digital, all of that. Beck is going orchestral, not just with his North American tour, which does really only visit into Toronto and Quebec, but mostly in America, and has been teaming up with the local orchestras of each of the different venues, different cities that he's visiting. Now it seems that maybe he's working on something a little bit more long-term in the form of an orchestral album. No official word, but it does seem that he has been in the recording studio with orchestras, and he says that he has got a new undisclosed, unnamed project on the way. We'll see what that means once we know what it means. And also Blur versus Oasis. The battle reigns on from the 90s into 2025 and into 2026, as there's now an onstage comedy that's been produced by somebody named John Niven. It's going to be premiering in February of next year, with the 2 Britpop battle majors going head-to-head on stage in a hilarious way. I'd be very, very curious to see what that was all about, as someone who lived through it way back when. That's it for the music news headlines this morning. Papa Roach is coming near to town in Edmonton with The Used at Rogers Place on November 29th. Tickets are going to go on sale on Friday at 10 a.m. through Ticketmaster. But we're beating the box office all this week, starting with this morning, and going to the phone lines. So the question was, what is the date, the release date of not the very first album that they put out technically, but their first major label album and their breakout album, Infested? What do you think?
April 25th, 2000.
That's right. It just had its 25th birthday just last week.
Right on.
So you beat the box office. You got a pair of tickets. You're going to go see Papa Roach in November.
Woohoo! Right on, man. I'll bring some Timbits.
Hey, that's not even necessary, though. I do love Timbits. Thank you so much, Ginger. Congratulations on the win this morning.
Wednesday.
The whole elbows up thing. What it means, it is a signal. It is a message to teammates that the other team is playing rough and that they are looking to shake us up. So be ready to protect yourself and each other. Pretty easy to picture the leaders of the provinces and territories as teammates under the banner of Canada. But it's a little harder to picture one team member with their elbows up against the other team members. Hypothetically. That doesn't last. That scenario can't last, and it lets the other team get their goal. No, it's not a perfect analogy. If we do bring it here to the Alberta perspective, there's a decade of tension informing the political and federal relationships. But I do believe there's sense in recognizing when everybody does need to be, elbows up together. So I think we should maybe be doing that. Kevin Bacon singing some Kenny Loggins. That would be the theme song, of course, to his breakout film Footloose. He was performing at Stagecoach just recently alongside his brother Michael. His act, the Bacon Brothers, celebrating a hit from just over 40 years ago. Avril Lavigne has joined up with a skate shop in the Palisades to help rebuild. After significant damage due to the Palisades fire, the place is called Palace Skates, and she is working with the owner to help with the restoration. As part of this deal, this collaboration, she has had a new limited edition piece of apparel produced exclusively to help out rebuild. And, of course, it's going to be full proceeds going towards it. Merch going to start going on sale Tuesday, May 6th to help out. And she was also just performing on Jimmy Kimmel with Billy Idol because they've got a collaboration together that's going to be showing up on his brand new album, Dream Into It, the song called 77. And it's a new US TV and therefore kind of world TV premiere just this past week, but the first album he's released in 10 years, that is, did release last week as well. Already available for you to check out.
You're listening to the Steve Reeve Podcast from 100.5 Cruz FM.
Apparently it's an example not of paying it forward, you know, the whole thing where you go, I'm going to be generous and I'm going to pay for the person behind me. But then you have the spot moment where you go, well, okay, I got the meal mine paid for, my order, but what about the next person? Should I keep paying it forward? Sometimes fun to get a streak, but then somebody's going to come along and be like, no, I don't want to do that, or I don't have the money for it, so that's the end of the streak. Apparently this guy, though, pulled a pay it backwards moment and said that, hey, no, the girl behind me, she's actually offered to pay for my order. How cool. As if they would let somebody do that, drive away. Oh, sure, I'll take your word for it. Because, of course, she rolls up and goes, no, that's not me. That's not me. Now, of course, they didn't make her pay for his order. They were frustrated that he essentially got away with his coffee for free. But everybody kind of had a laugh about it nonetheless. At least he didn't order
55 burgers, 55 fries, 55 tacos, 55 pies, 55 cokes, 100 tater tots, 100 pizzas, 100 tenders, 100 meatballs, 100 coffees, 55 wings, 55 shakes, 55 pancakes, 55 pasta, 55 peppers, and 155 taters.
Okay, that'll be $680.
Okay.
Thursday.
The default state of anything that has been pickled is sour. If there's going to be a different experience when you're biting into one, it has to be clear. Now, I'm not really talking about the label on the jar. That's usually very clear. It's on there, for sure. I'm talking when they have been removed from the jar, separated, and you just don't know. We did a grocery run last night, and it being late, we decided, just cobble together a meal of ready-made things, including, we found a little tray of barbecue pulled pork sliders you just bake and eat. Sounds fantastic. And the ingredients did say pickles, and barbecue, yeah, I totally associate that. That can go well together for sure. But they did not specifically say that they were sweet pickles. Now, I'm not even averse to sweet pickles as a concept. Sometimes they're yummy. Sometimes they fit the vibe that the other food is putting out, but not here. Do not want. And other people legitimately hate a sweet pickle in any scenario. So therefore, sweet pickles need to be disclosed. What say you? Are you with me? How do you feel about a sweet pickle surprise? There's got to be a better way of saying that. Sheryl Crow unfortunately having a scare at home. This coming soon after a video where she sold a Tesla, no longer wanting to visibly support Elon Musk. And then somebody showed up on her property, armed and everything. She said she felt very afraid for a moment. Of course, it did get dealt with appropriately. As well, a little bit of chaos in Billy Corgan's tea shop in Chicago. For the second time in half a year, a car has actually crashed into it. One person injured this time. People looking into the incident and the frequency, maybe hoping that this can be avoided in the future. One would hope. And finally, U2's got a new documentary coming out, specifically Bono of U2. It's right there in the title. It's going to be called Bono, Stories of Surrender. And the trailer has arrived. Bono saying, "This is my story, and I'm stuck with it." Well, so are we all, Bono. So are we all. It's also going to be on Apple TV Plus before too long. Streaming wherever you've got your signal. Joining me on the phone line, Executive Director with the Northern Lights Health Foundation, Vanessa McNevin. How are you doing today?
Oh, I'm great, Steve. And you?
Doing very good. I mean, I got a smile on my face because it's Smile Cookie Week.
Yes, Smile Cookie Week.
Just started just a couple days ago, April 28th, and you got until May 4th to get these Smile Cookies over at Tim Hortons locations across Wood Buffalo. And we know this is going to be helping out with the Northern Lights Health Foundation. But how does it help, Vanessa?
Yeah, so this week, every cookie purchased, or $2, are donated back to the Health Foundation. And how it helps is we take all those funds raised locally and put it into healthcare in our region.
Maybe everybody at the office or everybody at home get a cookie for everybody, and then the money is going to help out, in the future for healthcare for me and you and everybody that we care about. Are you still looking for volunteers for the cookie decorating?
Yes, we have so many amazing volunteers all week that have helped us decorate cookies, but we still have a few volunteer options open. So we encourage community to go to our website, northernlightshealthfoundation.ca, under events, or message us on our social media pages, and we can send you to the link to sign up. So we have volunteers right until Saturday decorating cookies at the 5 different locations, for about an hour or two each day.
Not bad. And you might get a little bit of a hand cramp by the end of that. I have done this in the past myself, but for a worthy cause.
Of course.
Thanks, Vanessa McNevin from Northern Lights Health Foundation.
Thanks, Steve. Enjoy the cookies.
Friday.
Shouting out the firefighters up there on the roof of the Eagle Ridge Tim Hortons as of yesterday afternoon, having their first wake up there, and it's going to be all culminating with a big pancake breakfast as well that's going to be taking place tomorrow from 9 to 11 at East Village Pub. There's a ton going on. There's going to be a 50-50 party that's happening tonight at East Village Pub with 2 different draws. There's going to be live music there as well. Our own Jordan from Cruz Afternoons was there hanging out with the folks on the roof just yesterday, and specifically talking to firefighter Ethan LaCusta about what was going on.
So we're up here raising money for 5 local charities. We got the SPCA, the Food Bank, Waypoints, Center Hope, and the Boys and Girls Club. We come down at 9 a.m. on Saturday, and then we have a pancake breakfast that morning for the whole town. Either cash donations, we also have QR codes to do it online, or if you want to bring some food for the food bank, that'll be acceptable as well.
And, of course, in the meantime, while they're up there, you can donate right there in person by dropping some cash into the booth. They'll have it available for you. They'll also usually have some goodies and giveaways for the kids if you're bringing them by. It's a really, really special time and a lot of fun. Of course, a lot of grueling being stuck out there in nature on top of a roof with cold weather last night, but turning into hot weather over the weekend. They just can't win. But, of course, the 5 charities that are benefiting absolutely do. So go make a donation happen. Of course, you can do it online. As they said, there's a QR code available. Trying to get out of the house a little bit more, get a little exercise, maybe not quite to the level of a Calgary pilot, who I just learned is, he's a pilot for Air Canada, and now he's looking to set a Guinness World Record and raise funds for the organization Dreams Take Flight, of which he is a part of. He's going to do this by running a marathon in his pilot uniform while pulling his little pilot luggage. We get it, all right? You fly planes. God, rub it in. Just kidding. No, it is actually for a good cause. Dedication involved, discipline, and a chance to give kids who motivate him a chance to give back to them in this unique challenge. And it's all going to take place at the Calgary Marathon later on this month. But there's also a local marathon you might have heard of, the Fort McMurray Marathon, going for years and years and years. Back again in September, they actually just opened up registration for it with early bird pricing yesterday morning. So find out more by searching up the Fort McMurray Marathon if you're interested.
Thanks for listening to the Steve Reeve Podcast from 100.5 Cruz FM.
Tony Hawk's not just putting amazing music into skateboard video games. He's also turning it into an actual festival, and it is to support the release of Tony Hawk Pro Skater 3 and 4, the re-release compilation package. It's going to be out a little bit later on, but the Tony Hawk's Pro Skater Fest is going to be happening on May 8th at the Los Angeles El Rey Theater and live streamed around the world on the Pro Skater Twitch channel, apparently. And with featuring performances from Danny Brown, Lupe Fiasco, Adolescence, Urethane, all kinds of people that have shown up on the soundtrack for these 2 games, including updated music. Green Day just got their star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame. It's actually the 2,810th star to be handed out. It's at 6212 Hollywood Boulevard next to Amoeba Music. And it was a star-studded ceremony involving even Ryan Reynolds of Canada fame, specifically because, well, Time of Your Life was used as the tail credits song for Deadpool and Wolverine just recently, and he went on to say that he's deeply invested with certain songs in the films that he produces or co-writes. He gets attached in a way that words are not agile enough to express, and this was something that needed to happen with warmth and gratitude and love instead of just being what usually happens in these movies, Ryan said. And Green Day's Billy Joel Armstrong said, it kind of feels like being at your own funeral to be here at this ceremony. Live Aid is hitting its 40th anniversary. That happened way back when, in 1985 in July, and of course attracted nearly 2 billion viewers across 150 countries, raising $125 million in donations. This is all to support anti-famine work in Ethiopia and beyond. Now, there's going to be a big celebration where, just for one day, the Live Aid musical is being re-released, and with benefits going in a similar way. The album going to be released July 11th, announced just yesterday. Spoiler-free Steve review of the brand new Marvel movie, The Thunderbolts. Asterisk. They've been really pushing that in the marketing, especially of late. One of their trailers literally making it the only thing you see on screen for a moment. So, you know, there's something to that. But without saying exactly what happens in the movie, I can tell you, a solid watch. Definitely give this a very decent rating. Directed by Jake Schreier. A movie that really kind of exists because, A, you've got a whole bunch of actors that are still on contract for X number of movies within the MCU, and, well, why not just throw them all in a movie together? And 2, because, well, they needed a team-up movie. It's been a while. We kind of had a team-up movie. I mean, you had the big Spider-Man, No Way Home, where you had the trio of Spider-Man coming in there and different people from the Sam Raimi universe coming in as bad guys, etc., etc. But not really any big team-up movie. People have been clamoring for, an Avengers. We've got 2 that are coming later, but hasn't been anything in a while. And this is the last movie in the current phase. Florence Pugh is great. All of the people surrounding her in this ensemble cast, super fun. And I will say, not really the most bright and colorful and saturated movie of any superhero movie, and not one that's strictly for the kids. Not saying it's not family friendly enough, but definitely this is one that deals with slightly more mature themes, dealing with depression and things like that, legitimately in a Marvel movie, and kind of doing it with a bit of tact, I would say, unlike in other cases. Definitely worth going to see it on the big screen for sure. And alongside other movies, if that's not your cup of tea, Minecraft is still playing, but they've also got the Block Party edition where people are encouraged to get loud and sing along to stuff. You've got The Accountant 2, Until Dawn, Sinners, and more still playing. What are you going to be checking out this weekend? Let me know.
Transmission over. Want more Steve? New podcast episodes happen every Friday, or just tune into the Steve Reeve Show. Weekday mornings starting at 5:30 a.m. on 100.5 Cruz FM.